Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News and an incredible few stories to dive into today, especially on the G2 front. After being eliminated in shock fashion from the European closed qualifier yesterday, they make a roster change immediately, and then cheating accusations start to hit the timeline as a result of a deleted clip that Nuki put on the timeline last night. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do. Top the channel reach new people, please do subscribe as well if you have not yet, already rocketing towards 10,000 subscribers. Love to see it, guys. Firstly, let's just talk about this real quick, some roster changes. David, of course, was kind of that guy that got left over in a way from the Giants team that had a difficult time after they got their entire squad poached effectively by G2 after they made some changes. It was really interesting how things were transpiring with G2, because there were rumors coming out from Nuki back in maybe, in October time really, that he wasn't happy with certain players on the team, maybe Keloqz, maybe Coldamenta. Keloqz was kind of the most rumored that Nuki and Keloqz kind of had a relationship that was, well, pretty fractious, let's just say, and therefore Nuki said to the team, like, look, if you keep Keloqz on the team, I'm not playing with you anymore. They decided to keep Nuki on the team instead, but as it's turned out, things have gone in a very different direction for G2 the last day or so. This is the roster update that OG do as a result. They're bringing David into the team instead of Maletti and onto the roster, so, well, that's what OG are doing it going forwards. But let's talk about G2 then, because this is remarkable what's happened these last 24 hours. So, well, they of course lose to Alliance that we look at yesterday. They bow out in the very first round, get double rounded in that closed qualifier with their new team, and that means of course they have to start in the open qualifier next time, which that's quite the run they have to make. And a lot of people said that, look, Mixwell on the Jet somewhat underperformed, right, in terms of what they expected of him, and of course Keloqz used to be that player on their roster, and they removed him quite recently, which it was a big surprise to a fair few people, but clearly that the team internally, the chemistry there was just not where it needed to be at all. Now, things have taken a very swift turn in a different direction, as Nell says very quickly after yesterday's loss that, well, G2 Valorant have started practicing with Keloqz instead of Mixwell. So very quickly indeed, and of course this kind of got noticed, right, because at some point they have to actually sign up for the qualifier, at which point they've got to put their team there. And Keloqz, I guess, still being on the bench for G2 technically, right, because he didn't get to sign to another roster in time. Like, well, effectively they're expected to play the next qualifier with Keloqz now instead of Mixwell. So he's back in business, and like Nuki and Keloqz, who supposedly don't have the greatest relationship, I guess have decided to go down that route, given that they were pretty shambolic in the start of their European closed qualifier. So quite remarkable, right? Like, the French scene is always doing some crazy stuff, let's just say, and as G2 then come out to confirm when it gets leaked, I guess they have to talk about it. Keloqz will rejoin the team as the starting duelist for Monday's VCT Open qualifiers in replacement for Mixwell, and Mixwell goes on to explain here exactly the fact that it was effectively a team decision, as he says, the team has decided Keloqz will play for me in the next VCT Open qualifier, so I guess an entire team decision. Now, whether, Nuki was too happy about this, who knows, right? But of course, that Keloqz and Coldamenta, both players that got kind of removed from this team, and probably, well, at least Coldamenta now he's on Guild, have been kind of happy to see this team not exactly do so well. We'll have a look at that here in a couple of seconds when the cheating accusations start to come through. Now, well, as Mixwell says in reply, go get them, Keloqz, I'm happy for you. I guess they're still technically on the same organization, so they've got to be kind of happy about it. But I mean, still, yeah, Mixwell's probably kind of, pretty frustrated that he gets immediately benched after these two poor results. And that's the thing, right? If they do come through and actually qualify all the way now, like, it's tough to see Mixwell getting a spot back in the starting team. So really, well, strange circumstances G2 find themselves in, but going to be far from easy for them to make that run all the way through the open qualifier. Firstly, there was some more drama on the open qualifier front, because, of course, some of these rosters, the likes of G2, for example, that, lost very early on in that qualifier, they signed up kind of late, right, for the tournament, for this, it's only 256 teams allowed in the open qualifier, and they, of course, were kind of late to sign up. Therefore, Riot basically said, look, well, we can't really have these teams not be there. They're some of our best lineups. We have to put them in. Now, what this means is that these organizations just get to come straight into the tournament. A lot of other organizations that were already signed up, they get booted back onto the waiting list. Of course, this is really frustrating for some of those players that were going to be playing in this, right, that were maybe in the 256 team, and you just get booted out because some other teams signed up too late, but of course have more money and bigger names and bigger branding. There's been a lot of talk about this really, and whether this is a good idea, and what Riot could have done better on this issue really, because they come on to try and explain things right here, exactly why this is they've done this tournament, right, because it seems they tried to do a round of 512, but as it turned out, they can only really do 256. So for whatever reason, they've basically kicked out some of these teams. At the end of the day, some of these teams, like a lot of the teams that are qualifying here, or at least that signed up here, like probably 20% of them won't even turn up anyway. They'll just forfeit the the first map. Now, not to say that's all the case with these teams, but you can kind of understand it. It's a bit of a frustration though, but still, I think they could probably do something to make this a little bit better next time around, because obviously G2 and the like were going to come into this tournament anyway, or at least whoever was going to be 7th and 8th in that close qualifier. Initially, they were going to have to be down here straight in the open qualifier already, so maybe they should have just left the spots open there so that, you know, they could come through and just sign up at their own leisure, rather than having to, you know, because of course they only signed up later in the day, and already that was too late technically, so they had to find themselves spots. Really interesting situation, but, you know, as George says, really, so Europeans have to deal with teams just being kicked out of the VTT entirely to satisfy big organizations, but, you know, realistically, what else are you going to do? And North Americans have to deal with Neon and Broken Aries. So, you know, fantastic stuff for the open qualifiers that are coming up relatively soon. But, well, this then from Guild Coldamenta. So Coldamenta was on G2. He then got removed in this past off-season, joins Guild, and Guild looking very good right now. Probably the favourites right now to qualify as the #1 team here, going into challenges from the open qualifier. We'll look at the brackets here in just a couple of seconds. But, well, as Coldamenta says the following, there's got to be some coaches IGLing in the shadows. That sounds like a good method. Now, what he's talking about here is G2, which of course, look, if he could somehow get one over on G2, I'm sure it'd kind of please him, right? Now, Nuki did a clip, and Coldamenta went on to describe that this tweet then got deleted. So we can see it right here. So Nuki tweeted this out. So basically, we looked at the highlight yesterday, right? That crazy Nuki kind of 1v4 clutch with no HP at all on Fracture. Now, he tweets this out yesterday, kind of a long clip, where, you know, he kind of leaves quite a lot being said after the fact. The team say, nice, nicely done, and you can hear people talking in the background. Now, the implication is that their coach Pipson, who of course is Russian, is speaking in the background while they are playing the game. That of course is not allowed, right? This is the clip in question that he re-uploaded yesterday, but cuts it off very quickly. So I'll share this for you guys here in a second. The original clip that came out, and then this new version, which he cuts off kind of early. And you can hear, at least a lot of people are saying, you can hear, as soon as, well, pretty much immediately after this clip is cut off, the rest of the team is saying nicely done, and you can hear Pipson with the Russian accent also talking to Nuki and the rest of the guys, which of course is not allowed. The coaches can't speak in the game.
How did he rest through the wall?
You will not kill my ally. One enemy remaining.
So if this is the case, I wonder what the implication would be here, because if Pipson is in fact speaking, I guess you'd think that Riot would have like some admins or something to make sure this wouldn't be the case, but I guess theoretically they could be in a TeamSpeak, or because it's online, they could probably find a way to get around these issues, and that Pipson could effectively be, if they wanted, IGLing for them. He could be sitting in the call, giving them the calls, as opposed to the players on the actual team having to do that, which of course is not allowed in the rules, right? The 5 players on the team have to do it, the coach can only talk in the timeouts, but if he actually was speaking to them, as it sounds like he kind of was, and then the tweet was deleted, which make things seem incredibly suspicious, then, you know, what are Riot going to do about this? So cheating accusations coming through, seemingly rather well-founded as well. Like, you know, you'd think if that is against the rules, which it has been for quite some time, and it's very clear that it is, pretty sure like Masters won last year, it wasn't so clear, but nowadays it pretty much is that, yes, the coach only speaks during timeouts. Then I wonder what could possibly happen as a result of it. So, you know, definitely intrigued to your perspective down below. This also, just to mention real quick then, so we'll dive into the brackets, how they've been going the last couple of days. So today, the upper final, Vitality versus Guild, is going on. Of course, the winner of this qualifies. This is the general European one. 2 teams qualify from this one. So on the bottom side, it's Big versus Alliance, or Big Beat Alliance. Big will play the loser of Vitality and Guild. So it's well, 2 of these 3 teams will make it out guaranteed. Then we'll have a look at the Turkish qualifier, so Supermassive Blaze. They're here in the grand finals. Only 1 team out of all these squads will actually get through all the way. And then the CIS region, it's Na'Vi in the grand finals with a couple of new recruits. I'm pretty sure JD's on their team now, so he's been looking particularly good. And yeah, KPI Gaming, Smokes, or Fun Plus Phoenix will be the rosters to actually battle these guys. So yes, 4 teams qualify out of those 3 qualifiers we just looked at. And well, of course, the rest of them will go back to try and do so again in a couple of weeks' time. And just to mention this, as we finish out the video from Ninjas in Pajamas, they were a Valorant team. It seems to be coming, well, it's going to be coming today. Today is the 15th of January. So they are an IP, their new Brazilian Valorant team, it seems, is going to be arriving very very soon indeed. And MIBR also confirmed their new roster last night as well, which we've been kind of talking about for quite some time. So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting a like button tells the YouTube gods this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.